Hello, hello. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Ed Talk. This is going to be episode number 18, and we are going to try and make up from the little bit of the botched Ed Talk that I did last week because I was absolutely not proud of it at all. I was half asleep. I didn't know what was going on for most of the time. I didn't have my topics prepared, and I took a nap today after work today because I am one of those essential employees that doesn't get to take the day off or anything else as we go along here. So, I have not missed a day of work, but they have cut my hours not very much, 10%. 10% off, so I get some more time throughout the week to come and work on my channel, which I've taken very big advantage of, I might add. And taken some time and cleaned up the kitchen a little bit. That got behind as we started contemporary, and that consumed more of my day, but it has been a good thing no matter what. And I mean, I hit the 36 exactly this week, so that was fun. It's interesting to me. I would have had to wonder what they would have done to me if I would have still been working at the other store. Because, up there, my average week was 30 to, or rather 44 to 50 hours a week. So would they have cut me off from the 44 to 50 and taken the 10% out of that? Or would it have been just 10% off of 40 after they reduced me down to 40? It was interesting to see. Looks like I've got Ron Helton here. He's got his stickers out ready to go. If you're not over on DLive and enjoying Ron Helton stickers, then you should get over there and enjoy Ron Helton stickers. And you should go over to DLive anyway, because it's blockchain. It's a much better platform for anything else. We've got Jake from Freedom Scoop over here saying he appreciates the extra time. Well, I appreciate everything that you've done to get the Freedom Scoop movement going. So we appreciate you over here on Ed Talk. I know I'm working on competition with Steven Ignoramus right now. I hope some of his viewers will come over and check us out first before they go over there, because we're only doing this for an hour and he's going to go for 9 because it's Steven Ignoramus and that's what he does. Streams, especially if he's not working right now. I haven't been keeping up on Steven because I've had a little bit of burnout from contemporary and everything else here. So I should be enjoying his programming more, but I know if he's not working, he's streaming, and it's what he loves to do, so God bless him for doing it. I'm not going to fault him for doing it, but man, he has got to be streaming extra long for all of this here. If you are new to the show, we are streaming live right now to YouTube, DLive, Twitch, Periscope for Twitter, and Facebook, so go over and check us out on one of those platforms. However, if you are on Periscope, it is hit or miss as to whether or not you'll get into the live chat. We've actually had pretty good luck with it lately, so we're going to... Okay, I have a glass desk. What on my glass desk is made out of wood? There it is. We're gonna knock on a little bit of wood over there and say, yeah, it's working now. But for the most part, if you want to get into the live chat and you're on Facebook or Twitter, get on over to YouTube or DLive or Twitch. If you're on Facebook, the links are right above you right there. So pick one of them above that and get into the live room, and we'll answer your questions on the air, because I can't see your live chat from Facebook from where I'm sitting. And I've had some of my friends come in and say, hey, I messaged you and I didn't get an answer out of that. What's going on with that? So that's the reason why we can't see the Facebook live chat. So get in. Jake says, I've got Steven on the computer and you on my phone right now. Yeah, how's he doing? How's he doing without work? Is he doing a lot of live streaming? I got to get over there. We're going to go over there after this. So I'll be in the live chat after we're done with this here. Anyway, and if you're on Periscope, the link for the YouTube is in my description on my profile, so go over there and check that out as well. And then you can get into the description below and you can see all the other links, because, once again, head on over to DLive. You're going to love DLive. And they have a weird cryptocurrency, so you can throw lemons at people and show your support with that. So that's one of the other things. Ron Helton's got the coughing Pepe. I've been coughing a little bit here. I had my biannual cigarette today at work. I bummed a cigarette off one of my coworkers. I have like 2 cigarettes a year, so I still enjoy it from time to time. I have not had a good cigar in a very long time, and I miss that. I think I might have to... I wonder if the tobacco store is considered to be an essential industry. Because, yeah, I would love to go over there and get myself a Cuban. Unfortunately, I can't get a hold of my supplier right now, so I can't get anything from Cuba, but we'll see what the tobacco store has in place as a replacement, if they're even open, if they can even open right now. I wonder if that's going to be the case or not. They might be. I mean, the gun store can be open, so why not the tobacco store? If you are new to this program here, I have a couple of topics that I want to talk about, so it's going to be a little bit like contemporary, where I'm going to kind of extemporaneously talk off the cuff. I'm not going to read any articles on this one, but can't find you on DLive. Can you say your screen name again? Well, it is linked in the description below, but it is Ed's blog Twitter, not with a 1 in place of the I on DLive. My Twitch and my DLive do not have the 1 in place of the I, but it is Ed's blog Twitter over on DLive, so go and check us out over there. Anyway, we're going to the tobacco store. We're going to see if I can get myself a Cuban or a Honduran, probably is what I'm going to have to settle for because I can't get to my supplier, but we'll have ourselves a cigar. It's going to be a good thing. I got a nice bottle of Kentucky bourbon over there. I don't have any scotch, which is weird. I never don't have scotch. I've got some moonshine too. I might have to go and check that out as well. Anyway, if you are new to this program, we're going to take an hour. I'm going to talk about a couple topics here, but for the most part, I want to hear from you guys. So tell a friend, get some of your friends in here too, because I want to hear from them. Even if they've never been here before, get in here because I'm going to read the live chats. I want to hear your quarantine stories because we've all been dealing with this now for 3 weeks and it's driving a lot of people crazy. I know that Robert from the Generational Gap was talking about possibly some abusers who have taken advantage of the quarantine by being more abusive than usual. I'm going to get rid of the music here. I hope you guys don't mind. Been talking over it for a little while. I don't have my headphones on, so I can't hear it. I want to see if I can get like an RF headphone, like Ben Shapiro uses, over the ear, not necessarily the big clunky one like I use for Ed's World, but just an over the ear one so I can hear what's going on there. I know what's going on in the background, but yeah, let's get rid of the music here. Anyway, I do want to take your questions for an hour, so I want to take as many questions out of the live chat as I can, and I want to get as many people into the live chat as I possibly can because this is your time. You guys all support me throughout the week, so this is your time. And I want to hear from you. I don't read live chat during contemporary, and we only do it between topics during Ed's World. So this and gaming are the only times I actually get to pay attention to you guys and give you guys the attention you deserve. So get on in there. Like I said, I do have a couple of topics that I want to talk about before we get started here. So I want to talk a bit about something that we started talking about last week, but I was so out of it that I couldn't really formulate an idea from. And this goes along with what I was saying with the quarantine stories for what Robert was talking about on Generational Gap last night when we were talking about that. I brought the same idea up into his live chat. And my thought to this is, what is going to happen with telecommuting as we go forward? And I tried to talk through this last week, and I just couldn't do it. I didn't have the coherence, but I want to talk a bit about it now because it's important to think about. So this whole COVID thing and shutting the economy down, as they've said, has really changed the way that we look at our day-to-day life. Now, Wisconsin, not a lot is shut down and not a lot has changed. I can't go to Best Buy right now. Is about the only thing that's changed, which I didn't go there anyway because it's less expensive to get all the crap off Amazon. For the most part, not a lot has changed. There are few businesses out there that are still open. Some of the highways look a little bit more like ghost towns than normal. I can't imagine what it's like in Milwaukee because I haven't taken the courage to go over there, but I mean, the dealership is still open, so I still go back and forth to work. The car dealerships, I believe, are still open. I think some of them are and some of them aren't. I know the Waukegan kid over on Twitter was talking about going and buying a truck over the weekend, and he had some ideas. He had looked at one for 20 grand that had 120,000 miles on it, but I think you can still go to the car dealership, even if it's just for parts, or even to go and buy a vehicle, maybe. Who knows? I never had to deal with that. But the big truck dealerships are going because they service municipality equipment and county equipment, so they've got to be going. But, I mean, the school bus companies are all closed, so nobody's there to get the parts to or get the service done from, and the truck lines are still going because the supply chain is still going too. So we do still have a lot of industry going there. And I know when you go over to the car dealer, you've got the ambulances say Ford on them for the most part. The small ambulances, I should say. All the municipality and police vehicles all say Ford on them. Ford got a handful of that contract as soon as they could. The car is a piece of shit, but they got their hands on that contract as soon as they could. So that all goes over to the dealership. All the Walgreens are still open, so you can still go there. All the restaurants are still, you can't go sit down in the restaurant anymore. So those are all still open, ready to go. What did I get? I went to Red Robin the other day. Last night, actually. I went to Robin last night. I was going over to the grocery store to get some breakfast burritos so I could go to work this morning. I usually get something like a breakfast burrito or something that I can just zip through the microwave and eat at work because I work at 7 o'clock in the morning and 10 o'clock in the morning every other day, which is getting easier now that I do contemporary, but that's a story for another time. So I went over to get some breakfast burritos over at the local grocery store. And across the street from our local grocery store, there's a Red Robin, which I enjoy. And I was actually thinking about getting here somewhere in the near future. And I drove by it, and I noticed that they had the waitress station, the hostess station, I should say, sitting outside, and a woman standing by that, and a line of cars going up at the hostess station. And then she redirected the. Jake figured out Freedom. D Live. Of course, he figured out Freedom Scoop. He created the thing. He figured D Live out, so now he's going to throw some lemons at us, which I can't see any of that right now, unfortunately. The Restream chatbot has not figured out how to show. They can show us Super Chat, but I'm not eligible for Super Chat. But they cannot show us D Live donations yet. I'm going to put in a request to see if they can figure that out. Anyway, I went over to. I saw the Red Robin. They were the woman was guiding traffic through. The cars were going up in a line, and it looked like maybe it was a call ahead thing, and they were doing car side to go. But on a whim, I decided I wanted to try it, so I drove over and I got in line, and I asked the young lady sitting out there what would happen if I needed to call ahead or if I could just get into line. She said, "Well, you can just get into line. Do you know what you want?" I said, "No. Can I see a menu?" She said, "Okay, go over to spot 14 and I'll bring a menu out." She brought a menu right out to me, and it took me about 2 minutes, which is a miracle for me because I'm so undecided when I go to a restaurant because I do it so rarely. So it took me about 2 minutes to figure out what I wanted. I picked it up. Somebody took my order, and I sat out there for a good half an hour, unfortunately. But that was the only downside to it. But they had it organized like an old-fashioned drive-through. Or drive-in, rather, not drive-through. Like, the only thing that was missing was bad 50s music and roller skates. And I was so impressed by the setup. I mean, so many restaurants are finding different ways to do things to try and keep their business going, but still comply with the governor's order here in the state. And they're finding very creative ways to do that. That was probably the most creative way I've found to do that, was to have Red Robin just sit you out in your car and essentially, like I said, run it like a drive up. The woman comes up to the window, she takes your order, you pay for your order, and she brings you the order. The only difference is you don't sit out there and eat it with a tray on your window. But hey, that might be coming at some point here. Who knows? That we might see that as we go along. And it was really good. I mean, even after a little while, it was still really good. So I was happy I got it. I got the whiskey barbecue ranch burger. It was delicious. And some pretzel bites because I can't get enough of those goddamn little things. They were delicious, and it hit the spot. I was going to Taco Bell, too. I was going to get something to eat just so I could go right to bed so I could get up in the morning. I was going to go to Taco Bell, and I wound up having Red Robin instead. It cost me a little bit more, but I wound up having Red Robin instead, and it was a good thing. Just came back from the grocery store myself because I'm going to be doing some more home cooking here tonight. I think I'm going to make some pretzels tonight, I think. Anyway, I want to go back to the topic at hand since it doesn't seem like we've got a lot of questions flowing here right now. Ron Helton's got the bat soup. Ron, show Jake how to use the stickers, because I'm sure Jake would love to have a sticker party too. Anyway, moving along here as we go along. So, I do want to talk about the idea of telecommuting, because the good people at Red Robin can't telecommute, obviously. So, that's something they can't do, but a lot of other people can. And first off, I know that I've seen a lot of posts and a lot of news articles that have said that for the most part, telecommuting was a perk for a business. It wasn't necessarily something you expected or even got, especially if you were new. But now it's become the standard for everything because these businesses don't want to close. They want people to keep going back and forth to, well, not keep going back and forth to work, but they want the people to keep working. They want to keep their businesses and their doors open. And they're doing things in every way that they can. Like the style industry can't do that. The massage industry or anything like that can't do it. Well, maybe they can. I know that my sister is a massage therapist, and when she was actually practicing, for a lot of the things she was working out of her home, so they can, for the most part, do it at home. My hairstylist can do it at home, but it's more effective to actually go out and have a commercial building to do it from. In some of these industries, they can't do that, but industries like data entry or some banking, some things like that, people can work from home. There's no problem with that. corporate banking, accounting, anything like that. You can work from home. You can telecommute to the office. You can remote in. I've used remote servers before. They're easy. I can't do remote in right now because I obviously can't unload a truck from where I'm sitting. I do shipping and receiving, so I need to be there for it. But a lot of people can, and there are a lot of people that should be telecommuting that aren't right now, but they still would have the opportunity to do so. Like I said, it used to be a perk. It used to be an amazing thing that you could do every once in a while if your employer lets you and you were trusted enough. And now it's going to be the standard. And I think it's going to be the standard for a while. We were talking a bit about some of the advantages that this does have for going forward. And one of them, I think, is going to be the traffic and the pollution. Now, I'm not a big Green New Deal person. I'm not a person like that where I think the Green New Deal is going to be the catch all end all and it's going to be what saves this world. But I do think that if we have the opportunity to take some of the fuel costs down, to stop pumping some of the things into the atmosphere, and even just take some of the congestion off of the road, the mechanic shops may dry up a little bit. I do have to say that that may be a disadvantage for some of the car dealers because you're not going to see the same kind of mileage that you see on vehicles now because people aren't commuting. But I mean, the bumper to bumper stop and go rush hour that I used to see when I worked in Milwaukee and I drove in Milwaukee, because I used to hit both rushes when I worked in Milwaukee. That stop and go, that is hard on vehicles. That is hard on vehicles. So taking some of that out of the equation, I think, is going to make vehicles last longer. It's going to give people the opportunity to do some more driving and seek out different opportunities from further away. And hell, we're going to even start seeing vehicles show up with lower mileage. And vehicles in good condition and lower mileage too, because like I said, stop and go is going to keep the mileage down, but it's going to be harder on the vehicles as well. So this may be an advantage for the auto market. It may be a disadvantage for the automakers because the cars are going to last longer. So people aren't going to need to buy as many of them if they're not commuting. But think of all the other things that this is going to do for the world. You take some of these cars off the road for a while. You free up the shipping lanes for truckers. That's going to be a huge thing. Free up the shipping lanes for the truckers so they can get commodities and goods from one place to another easier without having to dodge and go around cars in rush hour traffic. Your freight times are going to be lower. Drivers are going to be able to get paid more because they get paid by the mile. And when they're sitting, they're not getting paid. When they're sitting in rush hour traffic, they're not getting paid if they're paid by the mile. Some of them are paid hourly, but for the most part, if you're sitting in Chicago in the middle of rush hour in an 18-wheeler, you're losing time off of your daily drive because you still can only drive 14 hours a day. So you're losing time off your daily drive, and you're not getting paid for it. If that truck's not moving, you're not getting paid for it. So you're going to see some drivers get their loads quicker, get paid a little bit more, be able to squeeze a little bit in through the extra if you take some of these cars off the road. You might be able to see Los Angeles once all the smog lifts if you get even 10% of these cars off the road because people are telecommuting. And a person may be able, think of some of the other, like the hourly jobs that are out there where it's not feasible for you to go, like, let's say from Racine to Milwaukee. If you want to go into the middle of Milwaukee to go do some sort of work because you hate yourself that much. I mean, you already live in Racine, so that's a commentary on Racine. But if you already live in Racine, you want to go down in the middle of Milwaukee to work at a high-end restaurant because there isn't something anywhere like that in the city that you live in. But it wasn't feasible because it's close, don't get me wrong, but you'd have to deal with traffic going in both ways, in and out. That's if you take 10% of the cars off the road, that's going to be less of a problem. It's not going to be not a problem anymore once this all goes back to normal, but it's going to be less of a problem. Oh, we got people in here. Stephen Ignoramus is crashing here. Rage. How much show feet? Feet don't come up. And once we're on YouTube, the shirt doesn't come off either. If we switched out and we went only D Live, I would take the shirt off. I would take the shirt off and I would put my leather jacket on. You'd get your Styx impression again. Major Victory is here. I got rated from Major Victory. Thank you for that. Oh my God, Rip Trump. Yeah, I haven't seen anything on that. I won. Let's see. Post Jazz says hello. Saucin' on Who says Steven sent me. Feeling Lucky Duck, welcome on in. We want feet. No, I don't do feet. I'm not that kind of a streamer, unfortunately. I bet you can make a good amount of money being that kind of streamer, especially with so many people self-isolating here and not having to worry who finds out about their kinks. How much show feed? No, it would be the shirt coming off. Can we have more New York Yankees? No, Yankees suck. Feeder it didn't have. I love you guys. Feed me Ed. How much show toe? I don't even have a hole in the toe in the socks I'm wearing right now. Trading feet for lemons. No, no feet. I don't care what people say. You look like Chris Cuomo. Hey, hey, that is a racial stereotype right there. I'm not even Italian. Show elbow. I can do elbow. That's no problem. Less cars, more feet. Oh my God, you guys. You guys rock. You're supposed to say hi to us. Joe Rogan, Toe Rogan. Commuting equals open toe sandals. I love it. No shirt, no shoes. Steven told me to go here. I obey. I used to love Pong, then I turned 4. You know, the loading screen for Test Drive on PS2 was a playable game of Pong, and I thought that was cool as hell. On behalf of Steven Ramos, what's up? Brother, please, brother, show elbow. You can do elbow. Show something, dude. I'm dying over here. Intoxicating masculinity here. Chadasana moves. Haha. Andrew J. Hey, bro. Sun's out, guns out. Well, I'll have the farmer's tan, but yeah, well, I got a definite farmer's tan, that's for sure. Do a makeup stream. I am doing a makeup stream right now. This is a makeup stream from last time. Feet. You just got rated hard. Yeah, Fredo. Yeah, Fredo, that's a racial stereotype. You wanna go on the escalator, bro? Stay away from duct tape with those forearms. I don't get the duct tape reference, but oh, the hair on the yeah, no, that's happened before. It's weird because it just stops growing right on my hand too. I don't understand. And I have like no hair anywhere here. Steven's seen it, so he knows. I have like no hair anywhere here. It's just on my forearms. Nothing on my upper arms. Nothing anywhere else. My nads. But you definitely are not going to see those on a Google sponsored stream. So thanks everybody for coming in here. If you guys have any more questions, go ahead and head on in. This is whole arm is less than feet. It is the whole arm. It's a nice arm. I lift brake drums for a living, so thank you guys so much. Thank you, Steven, for coming in. And I mean, I always have to thank Steven. Steven bailed me out when my guest bailed on me last week. So show ankle. I'm wearing tall socks. I can't show ankle. People have seen ankle on not on this stream. I think it was Generational Gap. Yeah, when we did the Halloween special and I dressed up like a 50s guy, I had my feet up on the desk. I was wearing my Chucks at the time, so it wasn't like a feet docs. But yeah, I had my feet up on the desk when they turned the stream on and brought me in. Show knee, no moisturizer. I don't need moisturizer on my knee. Those are awfully pale too, though, because I never wear shorts. I'm wearing shorts right now, but I never do. I have farmer's tan to the extreme. Okay, moisturizer. It puts the lotion on its skin or else it gets the hose again. I completely lost my train of thought. I know we were talking about commuting, but this was awesome. Thank you, everybody. If anybody actually has any questions, go ahead and get them in. I want to hear your quarantine stories. I definitely do. So, and I will read your quarantine stories on the air if you got them out here. Absolutely, head them on in. But thanks, everybody. Anyway, going back to the commute, now that my feet have been the topic of everything. They're size 11, by the way. And I do need some new Nikes, but yeah, thank you everybody for all of that. That was amazing. Something about truckers. Yeah, we derailed your live stream. No, that's fine. That's what Ed Talk is for, to get derailed. Going back to what I was saying, though, yeah, I mean, the trucking industry, absolutely. If you take 10% of the cars off the road, the truckers will be able to get your loads in easier and faster. They'll be able to make some more money off of that. Plus, you know, people telecommuting, they're not going to have to pay for gas. They'll have to pay for a broadband connection, but they're not going to have to pay for gas or anything like that if they're working from home. But the big thing that I wanted to talk about when I was talking about doing the whole thing, if anybody's still here, speaking of Steven, I do want to make one other announcement. as we're going forward. Steven brought up the idea to me, and I'm going to set it up. I'm going to set my Discord up for that. We are going to, the next time I do an Ed Talk in 2 weeks, we're going to have a call-in show. So people are actually going to be able to call in through Discord, and I'll be able to hear them, answer them, and we'll take some short calls here and talk about some of the stuff here. Absolutely. I like that idea, and I think I've got enough viewers now where I could make it work. So we're going to start doing call-in shows on Ed Talk. My entire department at work was fired on Friday except for me. If you can tell us without doxing yourself, intoxicating, what do you do? Obviously, if you're going to dox yourself, don't tell us. But yeah, if you can tell us without doxing yourself, tell us what it is that you do and why it was deemed non-essential. Are you just, is it downsizing, or? I would love to hear a quarantine story about that, because that does fall into the table of quarantine stories. I'll dox myself. You don't have to. I mean, I don't want somebody to. I mean, this is a small live stream at this point, but I don't want somebody to come back later on, see this later on down the road, and use this to get you fired from your job either. I wouldn't forgive myself for that. But I mean, yeah, if you can tell you're in the RV industry. Okay, that I could see possibly going down. And that's a question that I had before, and we were talking about a bit earlier. Was, I mean, how is this going to affect the car dealers going forward? Can people still go in and get cars? And the RV is going to be the same thing, because I know people are going to want to be out camping right now. Well, that I'm not going to read on the air, but you work at an RV dealer, though. I see that. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't go by, like, what was it? Wisconsin RV? That's close to me. I didn't go by there and see if they're, what is the actual markup on those? Yeah, that is a good question. I would love to see what cost is, because that's considered a luxury item, so they can put an extra markup on those. So I would love to see what the cost analysis is versus what you actually pay for the thing. I know that there's some razor thin margins on some cars, and I'll dox myself on my own stream. Yeah, that's. What is the markup on those? Nick wants to know. Nick is dying to know because he wants to get an RV. I wouldn't mind getting one either, now that I've got yet another truck that's got an integrated trailer brake in it and a tow package. Go out and do myself a little bit of camping. According to the weight rating of the vehicle, I can pull my dad's park model with my truck. It's a half ton. That is insane, by the way. The fact that I can pull a park model trailer with a half ton truck. It's not something I'd ever want to do by any means at all, but I know that my cousin has a fifth wheel, and he does not have enough truck for his fifth wheel. My God, he does not have enough truck for that. My last truck was practically a 3/4 ton. This one is actually, it's got half ton rear. My last truck actually had a camper package in it. It had a 373 gear ratio rear end, and it had extra springs in the back to hold up more weight. I could have put a fifth wheel in there, and it was pretty much a 3/4 ton and a half ton body. But yeah, to pull a park model with a half ton truck is not something I'd ever want to do. But according to the tags on the inside of the door, it can. So a side topic, I'm confused about this whole lemon thing. So if I send a lemon, that's equal to about a penny, and Ed can catch those out. For real money. Yeah, I think you have to get to a certain amount, and I think it's like 1,100 lemons before you can cash out. And it's not about a penny. It's a little bit more, because 1,100 is about $40. So I think it's about 4 cents. It's between 3 and 4 cents is a lemon. They're made of mostly garbage materials and put together way too fast. Most folks spend their first year getting warranty repairs. Intoxicating, I'm going to reach out to you afterwards, because you actually might know my uncle. It depends on where he hauls to. You might know him, because that's what he does for a living. He takes RVs out of one of the manufacturers, which I'm sure he sees how garbage material they are, and delivers them across the country to dealers, so you might know him. But I'll talk to you off stream on that. Yes, no, that is how that works, though, Jake. It is a money, it's a cryptocurrency, and yes, I can turn that over into real cash, but It takes a lot. I have like 500 in there right now. Unless you're getting a high-end Thor, Tiffin, or Prevost for around 350,000, you're buying a 70s mobile home for 30 to 150,000. Are you talking about detached IDs or attached ones? Oh, McConnell Smuggles Coke is here. I saw you on Steven's stream, and yeah, welcome on in. It could be either or, I think, and I think both models are definitely made out of cheap materials. I've seen some over the top RVs that, I mean, even looking inside, the wall material is just cheap as hell. I've seen some motorhomes. My cousin lived out of a motorhome for a little while they were finishing up his house. They're reporting 30,000 more cases today from testing. Almost half are from the New Jersey area and New York. Yeah, absolutely. And the more testing that we start to see, the more that we're going to start seeing more of these COVID cases rise up. And they say that the U.S. has the most confirmed cases. I think we've done the most testing also. And of course, China's lying about their numbers. They have more proven cases than they're letting on. I don't have any proof of that, but I just know China. I know how they are. TT5W and TT, I'm not sure what TT is, but fifth wheel I know and motorhomes are made about the same. Yeah, absolutely. We had a guy, I worked at a campground for a while. He had a cool one. He had a little Airstream, but he modernized the inside completely. So it was cool. It looked like an ancient camper on the outside, all stainless steel, that kind of cool stainless steel. It was really clean, so it wasn't like rusty or anything, but travel trailer, okay, I'm sorry. Testing is so retarded. To put a chemically laced Q-tip straight into your nasal membrane sounds like a... Oh, that's a spicy take. Setup. That is a spicy take. Definitely lying in China. Absolutely. Travel trailer. Okay, that's what you were saying. I said that already. I read that already. I'm sorry. Um, yeah, absolutely. I haven't been tested. I don't think I need to be. And most of the cases out there, people aren't getting tested right now because they're asymptomatic. I mean, people are being tested because they came into contact with somebody and finding out that there's no symptoms and there was no reason. Well, I'm sorry, there was a reason for them to be tested and they were sick, but otherwise they wouldn't have gone to seek anything because they're walking around just normal. Maybe they had a cough here and there, but other than that, they've got nothing else going on. So, oh, we already hit 100 messages on this. That's awesome, you guys. Thanks for coming in. And thanks for spamming me with messages. I won't be tested. I have no concern. Yeah, unless I'm dying, I'm not going to get tested because, I mean, I smoked forever. So I've got a lingering cough. Plus, I've got seasonal allergies, so I've got a lingering sneeze. Absolutely. There's no reason for me to get tested. Unless I start to feel my lungs filling up with fluid, there's really no reason for me. But I do kind of want to get it, to be completely honest. I want to get the COVID because I want to get the antibodies so I can go back to work without concern. It's like the chicken pox. Once it's in your system, from what they're telling me, once it's in your system, you can't get it again. Even though they're talking about reinfections over in China as well. I've been in people's RVs every day, including elderly sick people. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of this is blown a little bit more out of proportion than I think it is. You should do a 2-minute jog and a 1-minute sprint interval. That's all the cardio that you need. Yeah, I'd like the immunity for sure. Absolutely. You know, it's like anything else. It's like trying to eat your Brussels sprouts when you're sick. Or 6, rather. When you're 6 years old and your mom's got the plate of Brussels sprouts in front of you telling you to eat them, and you sit at the table for an hour, whereas you could have just choked them down, got it over with, and it was done. Now, I grew up and I liked Brussels sprouts, but I actually never had them when I was a kid. The first time I had them, I was 25, and my cousin's wife made Brussels sprouts, but they were all diced up. They were really good, and she cooked them in with onions, peppers, and bacon, and they were delicious. And I eat them that way every once in a while. I do like them, so. It'll clear up your lungs well. 3 minutes, you can do it. Well, I've actually been taking longer jogs as of recent. Actually, right before I turned the camera on, I jogged to the grocery store, and then I walked back because I had groceries with me. But that is probably half a mile from here. So it was a half-mile jog in and then a half-a-mile walk back. So yeah, I'm trying to get more cardio on and get it cleaned out. But yeah, I still have that lingering one right when I wake up. I smoked for 20 years. But yeah, it's definitely time. I want to get rid of some of that as well. Hope I don't have cancer. Not going to get tested for it. Hope I don't get it. Children hating vegetables is because of TV cartoons and movies, and you've got those parentheses in there. Ooh, that's spicy. Portraying as a norm. Yeah, and I know some kids too. Like that's my ex's little sister, which she wasn't really a kid. She was 12. Would go right to the freezer and just get a pack of vegetables, throw them in the microwave, and then eat them out of the pouch, just as a snack in the middle of the day. So yeah, I understand what you're saying, McConnell. I do understand what you're saying off of that, but it was the only example that I could think of for getting something out of the way. You just want to get it out of the way and get it done with. That was the first thing that popped into my head. But yeah, I get what you're saying. You'll definitely need to do a 3 minute cardio. It's quite easy. Start by doing it once a week, which, yeah, that's about right. I'm actually going to the hiking trail, I think, tomorrow. If it stays nice like this, I'm going to go check out one of the hiking trails around here. There's one that's probably 4 miles over there. I'm going to go check that out. We grew veggies growing up, and me and my sister both like fresh veggies. I'm going to try veggies for the first time this year. I've been growing carnivorous plants for 3 years to keep the bug populations down because the last place that I lived had a massive fruit fly infestation, and I got some carnivorous plants to take care of that. I've been raising them for 3 years, and I really enjoy it, but I do want to try growing food now that I know that I can grow the carnivorous ones. Try growing something else that's a little bit more useful. I mean, people love to buy carnivorous plants, so you can sell a Venus flytrap like that because everybody's curious about them, and that's the one that everybody knows. I mean, I keep sundews and uh, butterworts. That's the word I'm looking for. I keep those around as well, and I mean, the white girls like succulents, but I'm gonna go return to ignoramus. I'll be back. Well, have fun, and thank him for the raid. That's awesome. I'll be over there too as soon as this is over, which we'll be wrapping up. I'm gonna go a little bit longer now, but probably another half an hour. I'm gonna go with this, and then I'm gonna head over there and get in his live chat too. So, and once again, thanks Steven, thanks McConnell Smuggles Coke, Intoxicating. Thanks for coming in. Thanks everybody who came in here and rated. That was awesome of you. Have you seen Center for Health Security event? No, I have not. There's a link for a Discord in the description below, Intoxicating on the YouTube channel. Pop into that and drop that into articles worth investigating, and I'll look into that. I'll probably read that on Contemporary. What's it about? I would love to see that. Yeah, absolutely. If you pop that in the Discord server, I'll go ahead and look into that. And check out Contemporary if you guys haven't. I do just a news talk early in the morning. I don't read live chat. I read everybody's name at the end of the week, but it's just headlines. So check that out as well. And you can check that on an audio platform. This will be on audio platforms as well. Anyway, that was fun. And we got to learn a little bit about travel trailers, which is the other half of the vehicle that I've never really learned about. And, you know, my parents have a park model, and my cousin's in the camping industry, so I've been around a lot of trailers before. But yeah, I've been in them too, and they are absolutely cheaply designed inside. Absolutely. Because it's not meant to be a permanent home. If they built them any higher quality, they'd have to charge more and lose some of it on the upcharge. Bill Gates' possible connection to Corona. Interesting. I know he's been harping on it hard too, and Ben Garrison just put a cartoon out where he portrayed Bill Gates as saying, "Wear your RFID or Bluetooth armband to show that you got the vaccine." And when I saw Gates dressed up like a Nazi, I actually thought it was Sanders. It wasn't really clear to that, but yeah, I'll definitely look into that. That's interesting to see. There's been so much interesting stuff that's gone along with this stupid disease. I'm ready for it to be over. I mean, the conspiracy theories are out there, but everything timed so perfectly. You came right off the impeachment, and all of a sudden we were in the next crisis, which we all said, what's the next crisis going to be? And here it is. So everything timed up so perfectly. It was so scary the way this all timed up, and you know, all of a sudden now everybody that was working, we lost 10 million jobs, or people at least went on $10 million or 10 million people went on unemployment. Some of them are going to be going back to their jobs, some of them aren't. But 10 million people went up on unemployment all of a sudden after the impeachment failed. And I do have to wonder if this would have been as much of a crisis if impeachment hadn't failed. I mean, this might get me shut down on YouTube, but the spicy take that I've had off of this was, they say H1N1 and swine flu and everything else killed so many more people and infected so many more people than what this coronavirus is doing. But they happened under Obama and he handled them so well. Well, no, he didn't, really. They got like a week's worth of news coverage and then the next thing was up. And I've always said that if this had happened under Obama or even Hillary, if this had happened under Hillary, for whatever reason, if she'd have become president, which everybody was banking that she was going to, we would have had 1 week of this is an emergency. And a week after that, as soon as it started getting out of her hands, as soon as she started losing control, a cop would have shot an unarmed black man. And you'd have never heard the word coronavirus again. Ever. It's a spicy take, and it's probably going to get me kicked off YouTube for saying, but man, that's how I saw it every time we went through and we talked about anything at all going out of Barack's hands, that was the next thing that happened, was some cop shot an unarmed kid, and Ferguson was suddenly on fire. So that's something to think about, and I mean, the news media tells you what it is that you need to know. Absolutely does. They decide what information that you have, and I mean, they've decided largely the streams that we've all been making too. I hate to say it, but there's no other news, or unless you're doing on-the-ground reporting, there's no other source to get news but what the mainstream is telling us to be afraid of. So that's all that we can report on. And they're talking about canceling the DNC right now, which, whatever. We all know who's going to win anyway. But they're talking about canceling the DNC at this point. Ask Gary Kildall if Bill Gates was dangerous. Wait, he's dead. Oh, that's spicy. They're canceling out the DNC. They're talking about on Twitter that they should hold the RNC at the time because everybody that the Donald loves is going to get coronavirus, which the leftists on Twitter are showing how hateful and angry that they really are. But they're going out, they're canceling the DNC. I don't remember where I was going with that. Where was I going with that? It's part of doing this live is you kind of lose your train of thought sometimes. I know, I said I'm ready for this to go back to normal and everything being canceled over it. They're canceling the DNC. Oh, that's why, because we were talking about live reporting. Yeah, Stephen was actually talking about coming up here and going to the DNC. We actually had it planned out already, that he would come here and crash on the couch that's over there on the other side of the studio, and then we'd get in the truck and go over and go check out the DNC, see if we could see what's going on over there, because it's in Milwaukee. It's only an hour to the east of me. But if they're going to cancel it, obviously there's no point to that because social distancing. But that's what we were going to do. We're going to do some on-the-ground reporting. And Steven's already done it as well. When he went to the gun rally, the March for Life, over in D.C., he's doing on-the-ground reporting to show us things that none of the mainstream is going to show us. And we need to get to a point where we can do more of that. I would love to see Freedom Scoop get to the point where we can have some on-the-ground reporting. To actually have people with feet on the ground reporting stuff, doing stuff live. Doing interviews with people that are at these events. But not being as toxic as Caitlin Bennett or whatever the hell her name is, the gun girl. There's a medium between going out there and trying to be a reactionary and trying to get people angry and reacting, and actually getting down there and seeing what people want to say. And I would talk to somebody on the left if I was down onto one of those. I don't know if they would ever talk to me, but they have plexiglass shields now at the cash registers in all the stores. Yeah, they are talking about doing that at some of the stores, or at the dealer that I work at, putting plexiglass in front of the sales counter. I think they've got the materials to do it. They don't want to do it, and that's been a part of the thing too. They're trying to do everything with curbside pickup and a bunch of other stuff that they want to do. They're trying to get this and get people panicking. I'm headed out. Just sub, brother. Have a good one. Thanks, Intoxicating. Absolutely. Thanks for coming in. I just found out that I can give people toilet paper. That's nice in these troubled times. Well, that's nice of you, Jake. They have plexi shields here, too. Out in Montana, I'm a little surprised. I'm not really surprised, but I'm a little surprised. I mean, you've got Bullock as your governor, so I could see that happening. But I'm still a little bit surprised that they have it there. Yeah, we have it at all our stores here. It's really ineffective the way they have it set up, but it gives everybody a sense of security. And that's been one of the things that's worried me here about all of this too is I mean, you're making these changes here to a lot of things that aren't even going to be affected. I mean, where I work is mostly farmers come in and truckers off the road. So if you're going to get it, if we are going to get it where I work, we already have it. When we've all already had it at this point, we were all asymptomatic. Big Lots is not accepting returns of sanitizer, toilet paper, etc. A lot of places aren't accepting any returns at all right now, especially not sanitizer and toilet paper. But like our local chain Woodman's here, that's local to Wisconsin only, and southern Wisconsin. I don't think they're in northern. No, they are in northern Wisconsin because they are up in Altoona as well. But for the most part, the southern Wisconsin chain Woodman's doesn't take any returns at all, and you're not allowed to use reusable bags anymore either. I don't go to Walmart, so I don't know what their policies are because they're too good to sell 223, so I'm too good to spend my money there. As the reaction I have out of that, I'm not going to tell you not to spend your money there, but they don't need my money if they're not going to sell 223 because it's assault weapon rounds. I don't know if they are. Target's not going to take any returns back. The other grocery store chains aren't taking any returns, so a lot of people aren't taking any returns at all. I'm not going to go over a bunch of the other stuff that we have at work. I mean, there's some other things that we've got going on at my job too, but for the most part, I mean, if you can try and keep yourself to a point of calm, to where people don't feel like everything is panicking, those are going to be the businesses that stay open and survive and weather the storm. The essential businesses, so called, that can keep everything on a normal base because everybody else in the world is telling these people to panic. They're telling these people that they're going to die if they step out of their houses and that driving their car around or going for a walk or anything else is going to kill the world and murder the world. Yep, and there's Hillary Clinton just not caring. Thanks, Jake. So the places that can keep calm, that can keep people happy, and keep business going as normal, those are the places that people are going to go back to after this. Hillary will save us. Yes, in her dreams, Hillary is saving us right now. Hillary's fucking toxic take. America first. Well, America's first in cases of COVID. That was the most toxic thing I have ever heard in my life come from a politician. And I've heard some doozies in my life. And Donald Trump is the president, keep in mind. And still, that is the most toxic thing I've ever heard come from a politician. But of course, we can't be too surprised because this is the same woman who gave us the Basket of Deplorables commentary. That woman. That woman, seriously. America's #1 in coronavirus cases. And if I was president, we'd all be fucking dead already. If Hillary Clinton was president, we'd been nuked by North Korea already. I hate to say it. Anyway, we were going to talk about the return to normalcy and the return to the nuclear family, and we got completely side-railed. And I love Ed Talk for the fact that we can get completely side-railed and talk about many other things. I do want to touch on something else that Ron said here that I missed. So, ask Gary Kildall if Bill Gates was dangerous. Wait, he's dead. And I read that, but then the other response to that was, Kildall died in a bar fight. Kildall was the head of digital research, a competitor to Bill Gates. I've not heard of digital research. I guess I'll have to look into that. I didn't know anything about that. Anyway, going back to the nuclear family thing, unless we get raided again with a bunch more questions. Thank you, everybody who did that as well. But going back to the nuclear family thing, I did want to talk just a bit more about that because I do think that we're going to start to see a change. I know Rob on Generational Gap brought up the point that in the short term, you're going to see a lot more bad things happen out of this. People that are forced to live together that were not ready to live together. And people who are forced to cohabitate constantly that were not ready to do so. because they moved in too quick, and I don't know what would have happened if I would still been with the last girlfriend when all of this happened. Because, well, actually, no, I do know what would have happened because I would still be going to work and she'd be working from home, so I would just have to deal with her when I was not at work. But I mean, for the most part, you've got people who are not ready to live together, who are suddenly stuck with each other all the time. And I've got this feeling that once all of this clears over, the two busiest industries that are going to be going on as soon as this all clears over are going to be the divorce court and the maternity ward. Because the people who weren't ready to live together are going to realize that it worked as long as they were both going to work and they didn't have to see each other. And I've been in relationships like that, and I understand why it can happen. And the maternity ward, because they got nothing else to do but fuck, so I'll pop the babies. That's going to happen, I think. And, you know, you're going to see a shift in some of the relationships too, and some people are going to come back on the market, and the whole thing is going to come over. But now that the option is there to telecommute, when some of these corona babies are born, you're going to start to see, I think, the more nuclear family. And I mean, and I said this last week too, you have the chance to have people have one parent at home all the time, not have the state raise their children all the time, which is going to piss off a lot of the liberal states severely because, you know, yes, they're still going to be required to get their government indoctrination from the public school or what's prescribed by the private school if they go to a private school or a charter school, because the government still has some control over what goes into the lesson plans there. So you're going to see a little bit of that as you go along. But you're going to see the daycare drop off, and that's more state-run education that's going to come. What do you mean by that, Ron? Familiarity breeds contempt. I understand what you're saying there, but what do you mean in the context with that? Familiarity breeds contempt. And of course, there's the delay between what's actually live and what I'm saying and what you hear because of the time. Now I have the urge to break out singing divorce, okay. Getting to know you. Yes, let's finish the stream doing Gilbert and Sullivan. Unfortunately, I don't know enough Gilbert and Sullivan to do that, but yes, that would be an awesome stream to finish up on. And this is going on the audio platforms too, because this was a much more productive show than my last one was. And I'm more awake for this one. Those of you who are regular listeners to the audio platform will know that I did not put the last Ed Talk up on the audio platform because it was a train wreck, because I was half asleep. But this one's going up there because, I mean, everybody on iTunes deserves to know that people from Steven's stream want to see my feet. So the other thing where I'm saying though, I mean, the daycare industry is going to drop off if telecommuting goes up. And the daycare industry thrived because people told Generation X and millennials that they needed to be to work, and both parties needed to be at work at all times in order for anything to happen. Hey, maybe we'll have a mass propagation too, where, I mean, propagation levels were falling off. Maybe we'll actually start breeding past the replace rate, because we know that's not happening right now. What are we, 0.7 kids per couple at this point? And the replacement rate needs to be average about 2 kids per couple? Maybe that'll start happening. Who knows? But, I mean, the parenting thing is going to change, and it's going to change the idea of the nuclear family. And the fact that you can have the nuclear family and still have both parents have a career is going to change the game for a lot of things. Because, I mean, yes, of course, you'll have both parents at home all the time. And my parents were like that. My dad works in a factory. My mom works in a restaurant. They had their schedules put up so that one parent was home all the time. My mom worked at night. My dad worked during the day. So my mom worked while we were at school. My mom was home when we were at school, but was there for an emergency in case anything happened, or during summer break as well, when we were away from school during the summer. She was there to take care of us during the day. And then my dad got home, and he took care of us at night. It was simple. It was easy. It worked. But if you have telecommuting, you can do the same thing, but with a professional job, and always have one parent there all the time. I'm helping the replacement rate. We're on number 3. I'm doing my part. We need to get a sticker from the Starship Troopers thing. And I mean, my girlfriend has said that she wants 18 kids. She actually says 4, but I keep telling her 18. We've been discussing that from the right from the beginning. Actually, we went in because right now my bed is an Amazon mattress, which is nice. It's a little thin, it's a little stiff, but I like a hard bed. So my bed is an Amazon mattress on top of a what is it? 12? No, it's more than that. 4, 8, 6. No, 4, 8, 12, 16. 16 half skids is what it is. It's a queen size mattress on top of 15 half skids, which once we move in together, I actually want to have a real bed for the two of us. So we went out. We went to the Sleep Number store and went bed shopping one day. And I kept telling the salesman, because he was asking, what to do, what the home life would be and the durability and everything. I said, well, the thing you have to remember is, and I've been teasing her with this ever since, is, I mean, what are we going to do when the 18 kids want to come in and sleep on the bed with us? Because kids want to sleep on mom and dad's bed. So we do want to make sure we get a big enough bed that we can keep all the kids. And that was the first time I said 18 kids to her. And like I said, she wants 4, but, I keep pushing that elbow into 18. I just got a Steven sticker. I've got another one, actually. I might actually crank up D Live so I can show you that one, because I've got a different one. We're going to do that. Even if it bogs the stream down, we're going to do that. Hang on. We're going to go to D Live, which means that you might get a little bit of echo for a second. Hang on. We're going to get this done. Come on. Bring me back to my channel. Oh, good. I did mute it. This is probably bogging my stream way down. Also, Jake was quite generous on the lemon, so thank you, Jake, for that. That's awesome. I've got a Steven sticker, though, for you, Jake. There you go, Jake. There's another Steven sticker. And here's a Bender sticker for you, because we like guns on this channel, too. Alright, we're going to get rid of that, because it's going to be time at some point to start wrapping this up here. And I want to thank everybody who came into here. And we didn't even talk about the new investigation, so that is something else that's entirely going on with this as well. So, I mean, we're going to be talking, we talked about it on Contemporaries already, but we're going to talk more as more details came out. But it's just this telecommuting thing, going back to that again. Once again, Ron actually brought up the idea last week, too. I mean, no, that was Jake. I'm sorry. Jake brought up the idea last week, too, about what this could do for homeschooling. Because if one parent is going to be home all the time, is homeschooling going to be on the rise? And I don't think it is. Not because I don't think it should be. I absolutely do think it should be. The problem with that is that once you start putting homeschooling on the rise, the states are going to come out on their little boards of education, and they're going to run to the federal government on their little boards of education, and they're going to put the requirements up for homeschooling so high that most parents aren't going to be able to achieve them. They're going to put licensing in place for homeschooling. So a parent is going to have to be a licensed teacher or go through a licensing course to be a homeschool teacher. Because that is going to put the interests of the state employees and the union employees at risk. You have to keep in mind that the union is still going to have their hands in the Board of Education. So they're going to make sure that their employees are protected. But I also see the opportunity of having more parents at home, meaning that more of these parents are going to take the opportunity to get licensed to be the teachers. And maybe some of them are going to ditch their jobs and go and be school teachers afterwards too. That might happen as well. But they get the licensing. They're going to be, they'll homeschool. Some of them will. Not all of them will. Some of them will. And they'll keep their kids home. The bullying will go down. The state-run propaganda will go down. Time to end government. Why do people entrust their lives and well-being to people who can barely manage their own lives? Well, it's easy. That's part of it. They don't have to think for themselves, and for the most part, they've been taught since they were kids that that's going to be the answer to everything. My mom asked me the other day, well, this was longer than the other day, but we were talking about this, and we were talking about the debates Because my parents are still dyed-in-the-wool Democrats. They always will be. It's the background that they came from. I saw the corruption from the Progressive Party, and we had a long discussion about that. But my mom asked me one day, I mean, she's watching all these debates, and nobody's saying what they're going to do for her. And she's thinking about the fact that there's talks about my dad's job going away. I don't think it's going to happen right now after the COVID thing. Just because I think the globalism thing is going to be done, not necessarily because I think any better of the supervisors that he works for, but just because I think that the supply chains coming from outside of the country are going to be shortened in a hurry after all this goes back down. But she was talking about the fact that she's going to have to, because my dad works for a union, that they're going to have to deal with healthcare for the first time. She's going to have to buy healthcare for the first time in her life at 60 years old. She kept asking what these people are going to do for her because they're doing so much to talk about what they're going to do to get rid of Trump. Nobody on the Democrat side has no idea what these candidates are going to do for them. And that kind of makes me sad because you shouldn't have to deal with, or you shouldn't have to rely on the federal government for any of this. The state government, maybe. The municipality government, maybe. But yeah, I mean, your first thought to how you're going to take care of yourself should be yourself. And I've said that before too on Twitter threads where I'm arguing with people over on Twitter and they're arguing against the libertarian argument. And how could you be libertarian? Because libertarians are evil and they don't think about anybody but themselves. Well, here's the reality. I left the Democrat Party. I stayed in the neocon and paleocon circles for a little while. And then I went to libertarian, which means that nobody is looking out for me. And in fact, some of these people actively want me to die. Nobody's looking out for me, so I've got to look out for myself, which means making sure I get my own health care, my own food on the table, the roof over my own head, even if it's whether it's rented or it's owned, the roof over my head. It's all stuff that I have to deal with for myself. The landlord sent out an email over here today, said, well, let us know if you're going to have any trouble paying the rent and we're going to work something out. Bitch, no. You're getting paid right now because otherwise I'm going to owe you 2 months and I ain't going to play that game. Because you never get out of that game. Nephews were homeschooled. They scored better on the ACT and SAT than kids who were in public school. Joe Rogan on the 2020 election. This is the real issue with the Democratic Party. They've essentially made us all morons with this Joe Biden thing. I'd rather vote for Trump than Biden. I don't think he can handle anything. Yeah, that's the other problem too. And I brought this up. And my mom actually agrees with me on this. And my Union Democrat mother agrees with me on this, and she was alive in 1984 because I was born, but she was looking at the political situation in 1984. I said, I don't think that they're serious about this candidate. I think that they're trying to put a Walter Mondale up there and focusing more of their efforts into trying to get the Senate because that cripples Trump from being able to put up a Supreme Court nominee. They're putting a Mondale up, letting Trump run his course, get out of the way where he can't run again, and focusing on 2024 and making sure that they have the Senate. And she agrees with me on that. I think that Joe Biden is going to be Walter Mondale 2.0. Because he can't fucking be anything else. I mean, your two choices right now on the ballot, because everybody else dropped out, are a 78-year-old communist who just had a fucking heart attack, and a 77-year-old man who has Alzheimer's disease. Yes, they're talking about Governor Cuomo waiting in the wings for this, and I mean, if they can push it to a contested convention, which they might be doing, which is why they're keeping Bernie in, they might try and throw Cuomo up. God help us all. But Joe Biden is going to have all the delegates, and he's on death's doorstep. Anyway, what are we looking at for time here? It's 1:07 here. I think it's time for us to wrap this up. What do you guys think? Those of you who are left in here, what do you think? I think it's time to wrap up here. So I think we're going to sell the wares and read the last live chats as they're coming in, which I think Helton's got the last one here. I want to thank everybody who came over from Stephen Ignoramus' stream, and I hope he gets to listen to this himself because this is going to the audio platform, or he's right there. That's the other thing. He's right there instead, so I can thank him. Thank you everybody who came over from Stephen's stream and checked us all out. Thanks, that was huge. And thanks to everybody who subscribed and followed after all of that, too. That's awesome of you guys. We do this every other week, so come on in. It's usually about 5 o'clock because that's about the time I come home from work and I take a nap. I get home from work at noon. I take a short little nap and then we come out and do this. So I'm bright and fresh for you, unlike I was last week when I had to drive to Madison for work and then come back. And I pretty much got out of the truck and turned the webcam on. So we do this every other Saturday. So we'll be back here in 2 weeks to come and do this again. Make sure you come and check us out. Make sure you go and check out freedomscoop.com to see wonderful creators like Stephen Ignoramus, to see the generational gap, to see Wyatt Birkenhoff, rather. I almost said Wyatt Ignoramus. Wyatt Birkenhoff, who is Stephen Ignoramus Jr., who is making a name for himself in a video series. Go and check him out. He is very insightful, and he moves a lot more towards philosophy and a lot less towards politics, and I'm really glad to have him on board. And we've got some other writers coming up, and make sure you are in on the 10th for our 12-hour telethon, where we're going to have some great guests, and we're going to have a 12-hour call-in show is what we're going to have. So we're going to have 12 hours of people calling us every name in the book, and hoping that somebody doesn't say something too spicy that gets us dumped off the air. But come on in and check us out. Call in, talk to your favorite creators, and we're going to have some great guests on there. I know we have confirmed that Matt Christensen's going to be on for a half an hour, so you'll get some people getting in to talk to him. We're going to donate to a good cause. We don't have our charity picked out yet, but we've got a list here that we're going to be talking about as well. Go and check us out over there. Otherwise, we will be back here on Monday with more contemporary, and we are going to try again on Monday night to get presidential candidate from the Libertarian Party, Soraya Foss, on the show. I got to reach out to her yet today to make sure that she's all ready and set for that. So, until Monday, we were going to take on out of here. Thanks once again for everybody who came in here, who was looking for my feet. We got some more elbow here for Boulder Vaughn. Thank you for coming on in over here. Truffle Shuffle. I love Steven's audience, and I'm going to head over to Steven's show as soon as we're done here as well. Come and check us out. Check out Contemporary. Check out Ed's World. Check out Ed's World Gaming. We're going to continue on with Fallout New Vegas. But until then, I am Jay Edgar, and thank you for coming to my Ed Talk. Take care, everyone.